Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy.
Probably statistically, 218 yards probably is not, nobody's, jumping off the table with 218 yards, but 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I thought the protection again was outstanding in the game. Gave him some opportunities to get the ball down the field. A 134 quarterback rating. I thought he played well, and I thought the players around him played well.
That's Dennis Allen, Saints head coach, after a 24-6 win over the New York Giants in the Dome yesterday. Mentioned Derek Carr's efficiency, and he was very, very good yesterday. 23 of 28 in the game, very, very high completion percentage. Distributed the ball to 10 different players, threw 3 touchdowns. The Saints converted on half of their third downs, got Jimmy Graham involved in the red zone again, got a touchdown. They were perfect 2 of 2 in the red zone. They're now 9 of their last 10 in the red zone. And they only gave up 1 sack in the game, as Dennis Allen there mentioned about the protection being very, very good. This was, in my opinion, the Saints' best performance of the year. It was nice to go win in Indianapolis. They destroyed the New England Patriots. But to me, this was the best performance of the year by the black and gold on both sides of the football, because the Giants came in playing reasonable ball. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that they're a world beater, but they came in playing pretty well, and the Saints owned them really from start to finish yesterday. I know it was only a 1-point game at halftime, but did you really ever feel like the Giants were really cooking on offense? I never did. Not that the Saints were going right up and down the field, but they were in control of that game, I felt, from start to finish. And so offensively, you're missing Olave. Obviously, Thomas isn't out there as well. The running game's still okay. You did it enough to keep him honest. You got the ball in Kamara's hands, but I thought Carr was just very, very good. And we know that Derek Carr week to week can be very good, but we also know he can be very average. And so it was never an issue of can he play the position at the NFL level? Yeah, he can. He's just average at it. And sometimes he's a little above it, sometimes he's a little below it. It all kind of levels out. So nothing earth-shattering, just rock solid at the time of year where the Saints need to be rock solid. I thought the offense was good. And the defense just absolutely got after Tommy DeVito. They had 7 sacks in the game. Tano Passignon had 3 of those. And Dennis Allen spoke after the game about his guys' ability to get up the field and rush the passer.
Well, without really getting a chance to kind of look at the tape, it's hard for me to say exactly. I thought our guys did a good job of understanding, rush lane integrity and how we had to rush this quarterback. And then when we did get him off the spot, guys were able to finish and get him on the ground. And I think that's really been probably the biggest difference. Really, when you look at the last 2 weeks, is I think, we've been able to finish much better on the quarterback when we've been able to get him off the spot. But certainly this was probably our best day in terms of, being able to get after the quarterback and being able to finish on the quarterback.
No matter what metric you look at, whether you go straight to the sack numbers, which is what we've looked at for a long, long time, whether you go to pass rush win rate on Pro Football Focus or, quarterback pressures, or whatever metric you want to look at, old school, new school, whatever, the Saints pass rush has stunk all year. You've had some flashes from Granderson, really nothing from Cam Jordan or Passignon. The 2 defensive tackle free agent signings haven't really shown up at all. Every once in a while, Brazee gets back there, but it's been almost non-existent. And yesterday, especially with the stunts that the Saints were employing, that they did a good job of showing on replays and whatnot, the Giants' offensive line could not pass them off, and DeVito was just getting absolutely annihilated on a lot of his dropbacks, specifically in the second half. As I mentioned, 7 sacks. And this Saints defense has not allowed a touchdown now in 2 consecutive games. It did not allow a touchdown to Carolina last week, and then against the New York Giants, they hold them to a pair of field goals. So that's really good. And you win 2 games in a row against bad team last week and a pretty average, mediocre team this week. But that's what you had to do. You were at home. You got bad quarterbacks, bad teams coming in. You take care of business, and they did. So while there was so much toxic 2 weeks ago from the fan base and booing every time Derek Carr came out there and booing the head coach and losing games and being behind in the division and the yelling matches between Carr and his offensive line or Carr and his offensive coordinator. And the whole thing felt so toxic. And now that you've won 2 games in a row and Carr played his best game of the year and you had an all-time vomit move by the Falcons yesterday, and things should feel positive in the Saints facility today. That's those coaches, those players, that staff, that organization, when they show up to work today, knowing they got a short week in front of them, it should feel positive right now. And that's a good thing. I can still sit back and look and say, hey, yeah, I know you're at 500. I know that you're tied for first in the division. I also know that you've beaten Ryan Tannehill, who got benched, Bryce Young twice, who's terrible, Mac Jones, who got benched, Gardner Minshew, who's a backup, Tyson Bagent, who's a backup, and Tommy DeVito, who's a backup. Those are your 7 wins. So, again, I'm not going to, as Dennis Allen, I've been there before where you're trying to make an analogy and nothing comes, so you just kind of finish it off because no one's jumping off the table. I think jumping for joy may have been a more eloquent way to put it. Nobody's throwing a party that we threw for 217 yards. I'm not throwing a party for the Saints at this point because I understand what they've accomplished and what there is left to be done. But that doesn't mean that I can't look at this, take a step back and go, okay, the defense has played really well the last 2 weeks. And the offense played pretty well on Sunday, and you're sitting here with 3 weeks to go, and you've got every opportunity to win this train wreck of a division. And no matter where the highs have been, whether it was getting a close win early against Tennessee to start the season, whether it was dominating the game in Foxborough, whether it's these 2 wins, whether those highs or whether it's the lows where you get destroyed by Tampa in your building, where you're gagging away leads. You don't get off the bus and you get down massively in second halves. You can't finish in the red zone against Houston. Like, no matter the highs or the lows, this train has always been on the tracks of 8-9, 9-8, and right at the top of the division. Like, that's where this thing has been headed since September, and that's where it's still headed right now. And my chorus on this is just not going to change. I'm not going to allow it to change unless the Saints do something drastically different. If they win out and are holding these 3 teams that they've got left to 9 points per game and Carr's not turning it over, maybe I'll feel a little bit better about that first playoff game. But my gut tells me they probably don't win out because it's a leveling out deal, and we'll see if they win the ones that count. And it probably finishes in the first round of the playoffs. So I think my overwhelming reaction to the Saints game on Sunday is they should feel really good about it. They should come to work in a good mood. There should be some good energy in the facility, which was necessary after 2 weeks ago. Like, all that's good. And then I can stand back here and go, yeah, but do I really feel like things are changing? No. I can't shift where I am mentally on this team because you shut out Tommy DeVito. I can't shift where I am mentally because you beat the Panthers. Now, laugh all you want at Atlanta. That's hilarious. They're the Falcons. That's funny. But right now, like, the way that Tampa and Baker are playing, what I saw from them yesterday, do I feel super warm and fuzzy about the Saints going there in 2 weeks? Do I feel awesome about going out west on a short week? But they should feel good. They should feel really good because that was, and all joking aside, like, no matter what I think about the future of this team over the next 6 weeks and the next 3 years, that was a really good performance. They played a good football game yesterday. And they dominated a Giants team that came in feeling pretty good about themselves. Rushed the passer, efficient on offense, good on third downs, good in the red zone. It was good. But can they back that up, or does it just revert back? And I kind of lean towards the second part with this team right now. But they do win, and the Falcons lose in front of 70 people in Carolina, 70 paying customers. And then Tampa gets the win. So as you look at it now, 3 weeks to go, the Saints still tied atop the division, but understanding that Tampa came in here and dominated you a couple months ago. You've got to take care of business in that game for sure. But you got the Rams to worry about coming up here on a short week on a Thursday night football tilt over there in SoFi. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.